Hi everyone! Today we are going to talk about how to design a game from nothing to a polished product. There are 3 steps that will be introduced to you as a retrospective, a summary comprehending the experience after the development which lasted over a year of a game called Defense Force. But before we start, let me introduce a game enthusiast to all of you. He is Jasper Yu, the project manager, game producer, game designer, full stack developer, ex-artist, and finally, the co-founder of DO Studio. He worked as a full-time client developer for Tower of Savior in Mad Hat after his graduation. Aside from his full-time job, he is also keeping on creating his own games as an amateur developer before graduation. So, you may be wondering why I am introducing this Jasper to you. The reason is, he is the narrator of this section. Yeah, that's me. As mentioned just now, Jasper is working in multiple positions inside a studio called DO Studio. Maybe just call her DO. What is DO? DO is a game studio established in 2020, formed by several members who are also game enthusiasts like him. Their belief is, every game idea is an ore, which means they are waiting for artisans like you and them to polish, and then turn it into gems which are gonna shine brightly. Hereby sending you good news. In May 2021, DO published a mobile game called Defense Force. Defense Force has been developed over a year by a team of 1 developer and 1 artist. Until today, this game has been released for about 1 month. The cumulative download is over 50,000 on the Play Store and App Store. So, what is Defense Force about? Defense Force is a mobile hardcore action game. It probably is the most unexpected hardcore game you have ever seen. In this game, players are aliens who visit the Earth with their spaceships. But the Defense Force on the Earth misrecognized players as invaders and start offending. Players can use the only defense system to protect themselves. Therefore, the biggest selling point is no attack. Could you imagine how you're gonna survive when facing bullets right brain, but you can't even strike back? In Defense Force, player can draw a line on the screen as their shield. This shield could reflect all bullets coming for you. Counteraction has always been one of the features among battle systems. There are games with counter system, games without counter system, but why not a game with only counter system? With this thought, Jasper decided to kickstart a game project, an action game with only countering. This is the basic form of a game ore. Let's start the long way of polishing. So, we are going to create a game with only countering. But countering for what? Melee or shooting? Jasper is absolutely a patient suffering from Chunibyo. There was always an imagination that he could form a force field by swinging his arm in the air. Answering this soul of Chunibyo, the game mechanism is said to be drawing a shield to reflect bullets. As a result, the first version of Defense Force is done by creating models with Unity, nothing for background, just testing the ability of drawing shields. And this is what Jasper means by proposal, the basic mindset of a game. This is the first step Jasper wants to share with you, how to convert a game ore into a proposal. Most indie game developers have numerous of unique, innovative ideas. We need to wrap it up with layers step by step, and this is the first layer. What is gonna happen basically? From a very simple concept, what should we do to make it turn into a proposal? Let Defense Force be the example. In the very beginning, Jasper had the concept of game with only countering. And the next step he had to think of was what to counter. Fortunately, Jasper's Chunibyo helped him to clear the vision quickly. Therefore, he could make his decision as draw a shield to reflect attack. Sometimes, your concepts may not be able to help you designing the main gameplay, which means it could be anything. For example, here is a concept proposed by a friend. Why not we create a game related to basketball? It could be like NBA 2K. It could be like something called Basketball Star Manager. You are the manager managing a basketball team. It could even a puzzle game. It could be everything. But please remember that Don't try to escape from making this decision. You cannot move forward without deciding the main gameplay. After you decided the main gameplay, this is now the time you need to consider the target platform of the game. Some producers always desire the game being launched on platforms as much as it could. But this is not an easy job in the vision of DO. Of course, theoretically, the game could be judged as suitable for one platform as long as the game could run smoothly on that. At the same time, any game could be tuned to have a dedicated control method on any platform. But the above never considers one important factor: user experience. I believe that if you are also a game enthusiast, or you are devoted to the discussion of games, you must have seen some discussion over playing FPS with PC and console. Players with consoles have to use joysticks for aiming, but the efficiency of using joysticks for aiming is never better than that of using the mouses. Therefore, how the control system is being designed is very dependent on what platforms it's going to be launched on. The reason why Defense Force is designed to be a mobile game is mainly about what is the most convenient way to draw a shield. Jesper believes that no other method is more comfortable than drawing shields just by fingers. So mobile device will be the best choice to publish the game. Until now, we have elaborated an idea from only a concept to a proposal including its main gameplay and the most suitable stage to perform. Holding this proposal, we can move forward to the next step: how to convert a proposal into a prototype. So, what does it mean by prototype? The OR believes that a prototype is a playable application without details and content. With a prototype, we should almost have a full picture of the game. Then, what do we need to do to change the proposal into a prototype? Let's get back and take a look at the history of Defense Force. After creating a test project for trials on developing technology of drawing lines dynamically and turning into objects, Jesper started to think more about the gameplay. What is a round of game actually doing? He wanted to make a hardcore game. Enemies would appear continuously and start attacking players, where players would die easily, just eating one single bullet, and die. A survival challenge, simple enough. This is how Defense Force was designed at the very beginning. Then, Jesper started to create simple assets by himself, and tried to make Defense Force having more colors. Literally. Also at this time, Defense Force has made the first ever major remaster, changing the whole gameplay from 3D to 2D. This is the next step we should do after we got a proposal. Throwing shield is just what the players are supposed to do the most frequently during a round of game, but not totally how a round of game is gonna look like. We need to complete this picture to further complete a prototype. When we create a game, we always hope players will come back, play again in a game, which can be simply called retention. How can we increase retention? It is the next topic when we complete designing a round of game. In another word, we have to set up something for players to chase for, so that they will play the game repeatedly until they got something they want. For example, there are people always asking, how does it mean by completing an episode of Monster Hunter? Somebody would say you finished the episode when you cleared all solo and co-op quests. Somebody would say you finished the episode when your HR is 1999. Somebody would say you have to be familiar with all weapons. There is never an official definition of completing this episode, but the common factor among these opinions is that there is always something players have to chase for. This question appeared in Jesper's mind. He started thinking about why are players gonna play this hardcore game again and again. The easiest way is to drop something which is useful outside the game, or chase for a high score. As a result, the first version of Defense Force added a score calculating system. Players challenged for longer survival time, higher score, higher combo, and etc. However, Jesper received the feedback saying that the game tolerance is too low. too difficult that they cannot enjoy the gameplay. Therefore, he decided to remaster the game, and Defense Force has made the second major remaster. The HP of players increased from 1 to about 100, so that players will not die by eating only one single bullet. With the difficulty of the game lowered, items are added to it, which are some skills like buff, recovery, and etc. There is also a new chasing target, collecting different items and spaceships. New UI are also designed. As a result, the artwork of the whole game was also renewed, becoming hand-drawing like art, which is still created by Jasper. This step is all about two things, which are the short-term goals and the long-term goals respectively. A prototype should include these two components, and with several sample assets, try to create a playable application. We need this because we need to try out for a more macro vision of the game. Just like Defense Force, if Jasper did not create the first prototype, he might never know that the gameplay is too harsh. Many resources and unnecessary effort would most likely be wasted for an incorrect direction of development. Nice! A prototype of a game has been completed. Here comes the final step, and a polished product is waiting for you. In this step, the main task will be content creation, business model, and fine polishing. They all made a mistake in this step. We thought it would be an easy job which could be done quickly. But finally, this could take more than a year to finish. Defense Force now is a prototype that contains a complete gameplay. Players could finish a round of game, getting their score as in-game currency, get back to the main menu, and purchase items. Jasper thought it definitely could be finished within 3 months. Therefore, he led the overjoining selection of a funding scheme. Fortunately, Defense Force was selected as one of the 12 games which are getting the funding. But they all finally noticed that they are also getting into a big crisis. 大ピンチだ! Their resources were totally not enough to finish the game in a few months. There was too much unexpected workload that never thought before. We all love games. We all love creating games. We all love making games development as our jobs. Therefore, we should aim to create games which would bring us revenue, so that the game could help us earning lives. That's also what Jasper was thinking about at that time. So he was focusing on what features could bring revenue to the team. From the design of prototype, collecting is one of the features, which is a very common way to sell products sustainably among mobile games. Therefore, Jasper chose gacha and unlocking to be in-app purchase products. At the same time, playing rewarded advertisement is also another common method. Defense Force therefore implementing an ad playing system in different situations. There are numerous ways to implement purchase system into a game, such as paid DLCs, season pass, gacha, or etc. When we are handling purchase systems, we need to substitute ourselves as a player. What do I want if I were a player? Always ask yourself this question. When we feel the emotion and desire as a player, we can avoid something that will make players dislike and set up products that make players like. A purchase system is not only means by technical perspective. When we are going to implement a purchase system, which means it must be related to the metadata, as known as game balancing. On the other hand, game balancing is also not limited to balancing between the same genre of products, but also how the content is giving feedback according to the products player purchased. For example, Defense Force contain items for drawing and upgrading, so stages have to give players a feeling that the items they have got are worth their prices. To achieve this, Defense Force made the third major change. Stages are being set up, not only a survival challenge. Items and spaceships are both set up to be upgradable. As a result, Defense Force turns from a single-stage survival game into a multi-stages RPG game. The complexity is also increased by not only one level. Then, the whole art theme is also needed changes after discussion with teammates of Dior, and thus, time become more insufficient. With the game being updated to be an RPG, more systems have to be added in order to make it more attractive, or more targets to chase for in words of the previous step. As a result, systems like mission system, mail system, and etc. are designed and pending to be developed. However, the workload is far more than that. To transform a prototype into a product, what we need is not only something to purchase, or I should say, nobody will purchase any product if the game is only a prototype. In this step, enriching user experience is another important topic, including game balancing mentioned just now. Visual and audio effects, background music, localization, and maybe asset bundles. They may all seem to be easy tasks, but they are time consuming. This final step could take more time than the sum of time used for the two previous steps. Suggestion from Dior is never underestimate the time needed for this step. During this step, you may notice that features of the prototype feel incomplete or insufficient. But before any modification is made, please ensure that the core values of the game are very clear. All modifications are made based on these values. These three phases are only about how a game or is transforming into a product. There is still something related to this process, but not related to how we are going to design a game. But it is more important than that. This is all about Kakugo, which means by mental readiness. As an indie game team or developer, the resources are much less than a company with a larger scale, which means we will require more time to finish a game of the same scale when compared to the bigger companies. Just like the development team of Defense Force, they contributed nearly all of their after-work time holidays for developing. Jasper, me, did not enjoy any holidays for years, but still, the efficiency is lower than teams or companies which are doing this as the full-time jobs. So, you may form a team, but before that, please ask yourself, do you have the Kakugo to contribute your own leisure time, your comfortable, chilling, relaxing time for developing games? When you feel your Kakugo of contributing yourself, you do need another Kakugo. Are you ready to accept if your teammates do not have this Kakugo? Can you resolve the impact if your teammates are free riding, not devoting to the project? You may be asking why. Why would Jasper think my teammates will not devote themselves to the project? Could you show some respect to me and my teammates? It is all about vision. Let me ask you one question instead. If your teammates do not have the same vision as you, what makes them become so devoted to the project? I'm not going to discuss how to clear the vision for your teammate today due to time limitations. But in very short words, I am saying this because Jasper does have times of experience facing this situation. This session is about to end. Thank you for your attention. Jasper and Dior are just like their studio name. They are also ours that are waiting for polishing. This session is like a retrospective of the development history of Defense Force. Hope that our experience could help indie game developing teams. And also, Dior is now open for cooperation in any aspect of gaming. Wish that every indie team can create games which are capable of bringing us fun, excitement, and revenue. Finally, please remember to subscribe to this channel, give us a like. I am Jasper from Dior Studio. Thank you.